let's kind of switch here and get into what I'm like honestly most excited to talk to you about, and to see you build out for the next few years is Ape Dao Legends. So I'll pull it up here just so for everyone, if you're not new, this is the website. This is how it all looks. But can you just kind of kick us off with just a basic intro on Ape Dao Legends and how it came about?
Yeah, I mean, so Legends really came about from the artist. Like the artist Victoria, he does Ape Kids Club. He did all of the original 49 Ape Kids Clubs for the DAO. So we have a bunch of those. I don't, maybe it's not 49. Yeah, I think he did like 10 of them. But yeah, we have a bunch of those in the DAO vault. He also just launched his Ape Kids Club project, but he had a Ape Parents Club project that's kind of the basis of this idea. But I was talking to him, and it's a struggle to get IP from like 5, 10 different people to try to get like this thing done, and then like pay
Right.
everybody out. And it's like, hey, why don't you just bring your concept over to Ape DAO? Because we have all this IP all in one place, and we can create this whole like story and lore and like whole concept around all of our apes, and we don't have to like split this up. We just bring it all in one. And so we started with him. He's an incredible artist, like you can see on these pages here. But
Yeah.
he does insane work with this stuff, and he's doing this great character building through his images. And then we bring in a couple of writers. C Square was the one that did the writing for all these. Um, and so we're trying to build out that lore, build out the concepts that are here. And this just goes back to like what we talked about with why Remix was here in the first place, is to leverage the Ape DAO's IP, right? Like we have so much valuable IP here, and we want to be able to utilize it in some way. And there's just no easier way to do it than through media. And Legends is the beginning of that, right? Where we're creating these collectible cards that we have, different collectible challenges with, but we want to evolve this as well, right? Like it's not just, I mean, these are the first chapter is mostly intros. We're going to have one big kind of final battle scene at the end. Um, but it is largely intros, right? It's introducing the characters, the universe, backstories.
Right.
Going forward, we want the episodes to be more story driven, more narrative driven, and they can come from different artists, and they can come from different writers as well. And we want it to be similar to like you'd have DC Comics or Marvel. Like each artist has their own interpretation of the world
Right.
and their own interpretation of the artwork and the characters themselves. Where this goes from here, does it turn into like a comic book? Maybe. Does it turn into a larger collectors platform? Does it turn into a game? Something that we can do as far as an online game, Web3 game. Like all of these are things that we want to build out of this, and we see Ape Out Legends as a massive media property in the future that we can use, and we want to grow it that way.
I just want to thank you for being such a good guest because you go ahead and answer all the questions beforehand. And it's like, it's so beautiful because you just did it all in order. So honestly, like it's such a good like explanation, and you broke down literally even the roadmap and the future plan. So honestly, like
Uh,
again, I always want to speak just from the outside looking in.
mhm.
Um, the first thing when I saw Legends, what I was like, oh, this is the key. And then as you really dive in and see the artwork, you know, it's unreal, right? And it really does give that comic book anime like, type of style. And again, it's just so exciting because there's 81 apes. There's so much potential, and you guys have just started. Like, it's season one, I believe 3 episodes in, right? And it's still
Mhm.
so fresh. So is there like maybe perhaps some type of teaser or anything you can give to the community listening in, in terms of what they can expect for 2022 and Legends?
I mean, yeah, like I talked a lot about, what our aspirations are for it. I do think the number one goal, like, so I will tell you that we'll probably take a little break after chapter one, because we need
Right.
to realign Legends and where we're taking it. Because as I stated, like early on in Legends, like the goal of Legends it's not to be this project where you're flipping things for two, three, $5,000, right? Like it's supposed to be accessible. We want to be able to onboard people through Legends into the NFT space.
Right.
We wanted to eventually be a marketplace I know like NBA Top Shot is massive as far as their user base, but like we want it to be similar in that kind of style and vein where you go into a our marketplace and you can buy and trade legends, and we've created this whole place for you to just exist in. Um, One of the things that we have been looking at a lot is actually another kind of NFT collectible uh, company that's doing it pretty well. I think is Collective, like Collective with K and no E at the end. I believe is how they do it. Collective.gg. Um, but yeah, I mean, like they've done it with NFT art, and they've done these collectible cards, and they have this collectible system. And I think they've shown a really good way of how you can kind of create a little closed sandbox around collectibles and make it very user friendly and very low gas. So hopefully we can kind of learn from that and kind of build an ecosystem around that. We'll do, and you can have much bigger drops, much bigger um, concepts around it. I also think in the future we want to be take a lot more from the way like trading cards have been done in the past. So insert packs, rare cards,
Right.
kind of different styles and different ideas that come around it, and we'll definitely be looking towards the kind of the past and physical trading cards on how we kind of build the future of Legends as well. um, so yeah, that's kind of the main focus. I think we want to make sure that we get an experience for people that everyone will like. Some way we can expand beyond just the remix holders as well. So hopefully we can kind of build this marketplace out, push more marketing and getting packs sold to the community outside of remix. That being said, remix will always have kind of access and free access to Legends. That's always been the goal. Legends is a property of both Ape Dao and Remix as a project, so it is something that will be closely tied to Remix holders for a long time.
It's beautiful. The something that I'm excited for to see like what will happen again in the future is things like Comic Con, Anime Expo, where potentially Legends is there and it's exhibiting and it's growing and it has like actual fan base coming there to experience to see what's coming next. I'm sure you're familiar with things like Funko Pop and those toys. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
definitely seeing like a crazy roadmap, which again was why I'm just so bullish and excited about it. Because again, the artwork and the characters are definitely like top notch. So let me ask you this one last question here,
Mm-hmm.
just for
Yeah.
clarity, obviously because I have you on here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you just quickly break down? Let's just go. There's Ape Dao. We have Remix Club. We have Originals. Just so they hear from you, can you quickly just explain the differentiation between Ape Dao Remix and and Remix Club?
Yeah, so 8DAO is legitimately just a DAO, right? So there's tokens that represent the governance of that DAO. So if you own Ape, you're part of the DAO, and there's snapshot voting on that. There's everything like related to the DAO and its assets. But it's mostly just like an asset management entity, right? Like it's like okay, it has all these NFTs that it manages as asset management, and members that own apes have kind of voting rights on those assets. Um, that's the extent of Ape DAO, right? Like there's nothing else there. There's no project behind Ape DAO. It's just a DAO. With Remix, it's essentially Ape DAO, like team from Ape DAO came in out and built a project for Ape DAO. So basically, this project came using the assets of Ape DAO, and I think that's kind of the position that we've been trying to do this whole time is like saying we want to leverage Ape DAO assets and Ape DAO IP, and we want to build it into projects. And kind of Remix is that vehicle to be able to do so, because we can be more flexible with or not more flexible. It's just project based, right? We can build projects off of Ape DAO IP through the vessel of Remix, and then originals again is these are all kind of within the Remix family. So Remix on that side it has like okay, here's the original project. The Genesis project is Remix Club, and then below that we have all the theater projects that are like Legends and Originals, and anything else that comes out of that is kind of like coming out from that Genesis project. um, so yeah, I mean that's sort of how I view it. That's how we structured it originally, and like all as far as like the kind of ownership or funds of Remix. Like Remix goes into the DAO. Like most of it's either the artist or the DAO. That's where the
Right.
funds are kind of flowing into. Um, and the project teams that work on specific ones get some allocation here and there, but the majority of what happens, it's either going right to the artist or right back to the DAO. And this is where we want to kind of continue building the strength of the DAO through Remix, and through Legends and through all those properties.
Beautiful. As I expected, a great explanation. Thank you again, Tim. Like, yo, this is actually really, really cool to kind of just have a chance to chat with you. Pick your brain on some of these things and kind of see where I guess a lot of these projects are going to be headed in 2022 and beyond. I'd like to leave with this one last question, and I don't know if you'll have an answer, but let's see. In 2022 and beyond, is there a certain NFT project that could be a sleeper, or just something you're like very bullish on?
That's not Ape Dao Legends.
And that's not that's the trick. It can't be Bored Apes Yacht Club or anything revolving DAO and Remix.
um, NFT project that's a sleeper for 2022. So again, like I'm super bullish on gaming, right? Like I think gaming is definitely where it's going to be. And whoever does it the best and fastest is going to, have a huge head start. I personally, I mean, I don't want to like be pumping my own bags. I don't do much engagement in there, but I like when Guild of Guardians kind of came out, and they're on Immutable X as well, so the same was like where Collective GG is. I saw that gameplay, and they sold a bunch of NFT characters, so I bought a bunch of like their original drop legendary ones. But yeah, I mean their gameplay looks incredible, and they seem to have a very good mind around the way how to like the way NFTs will integrate into their gameplay and how that's going to work. So that's one. I know there's a bunch of other gaming companies and studios that are in the works at the moment as well, that have this stuff. But my main thing is like I know that there are kind of card games out there, staking
Yeah,
games, but all these aren't like in my mind aren't what's really going to bring gaming to NFTs. Like you need a real game, and I think that's what's going to bring the two communities together. And it's going to come. I don't know. People think like some people are talking think it's going to come slowly. I think it's going to come faster than people think. I think it's going to come from one of these smaller studios is going to catch the big studios off guard. It's going to be like these like kind of mid-level boutique studios that are building these games, and one of them is going to just blow up out of nowhere. It's going to be like the next Fortnite type thing where it's like, holy
seriously.
crap, what happened in the last 2 months that this game all of a sudden went from like zero to like
Yeah,
hundreds of billions in revenue? um, I think it's going to be that quick, and I think it's going to catch some people off guard. And I don't know what it is, whether it's Guild of Guardians. I know there's some like Big Time is another one that has some
yeah,
big time studio guys, or like OG studio guys behind it. I know there's a few other marketplaces that are doing some interesting stuff. So we'll see what it is. I think it needs to be kind of like this perfect storm of gameplay, marketing, and everything together. But whoever nails it is, yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
want
a
to buy
hidden
some of those
gem.
NFTs or stock.
Yeah, the next billion-dollar brand is just waiting, waiting to be plucked. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
look, Tim, thank you again so much, man, for giving us some time and hopping on here. If you guys aren't aware, this is Tim's Twitter right here. Feel free to give him a follow, drop a like and support as we continue to build and grow everything here. A lot of exciting times. This is literally our first piece of content is coming on the Remix Club YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much for following. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and there's a ton more coming in 2022.